But the star of the show is Miss Kimberly. So Kim, I'm going to let you do a quick little intro.
Hi guys, it's me, Kim, the in-house SD for Bushbalm Pro. I've been a licensed SD for 13 to 14 years. I always forget because it's been such a long time. I'm an experienced waxer as well, and primarily wax Brazilians here in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, California. And my handle will be _wax junkie. WAXJUNKIE. So if you guys would like to follow along, I do post a lot of content about Brazilian waxes, Vajacials, and all things Bushbalm. And if you guys ever have any questions, please feel free to DM me. My DMs are open for the aesthetic community, and I'm always here to help. So I cannot wait to dive into today's demo using the Bushbeads Premium Hard Wax, and we're going to be going into mini Vajacials as well. So if you guys have any questions, like Kiana said, please feel free to jump onto the chat, type in those questions, or just raise your hand or come off mute, and we can talk a little bit more in depth as to what we're doing. And I'm going to go into step by step with you guys, and we're going to be using all Bushbalm products today.
Amazing. Jody, it looks like you might be sharing your screen. So if we could get you to stop sharing your screen, that would be perfect. And then we can get the presentation going here. Awesome. Okay, so everybody is here to see the Bushbeads in action. So we're really proud to introduce Bushbalm's latest innovation of hair removal, Bushbeads Premium Hard Wax, with you guys. It was designed specifically for estheticians, and we actually created Bushbeads with the feedback of our top 10 SDs. So that was really fun for us, and we are really excited to just see it be received so incredibly well. The Bushbeads Hard Wax is incredible for so many reasons. It is an unscented hypoallergenic wax. It has an extremely quick drying formula. So Kim will speak on all of this very soon. It's kind of a hybrid wax. It has a gel-like consistency, but still super creamy. It has a very low melting point, which is great because you'll be able to work a little faster. So we recommend a 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Kim will also be touching on this later, but it's really not about the temperature, like the number that you need to worry about. It's more about the consistency and how the wax looks. So I know Kim will be going into that later. And today, Kim's going to be showing you guys the one-stop shop Bushbalm routine from start to finish. So we're going to be including the intimate refreshing wipes, showcasing the Bushbeads Hard Wax. She's going to have time to include the Vajacial in. So in case you guys have any questions about the Vajacial, you'll be able to ask those questions. And then she's going to just tie in how you can incorporate the oil into the service to help you sell retail. So without further ado, let's get this started.
Okay, perfect. I already have my model draped in a little napkin, and Krista is my model today, so we can all just be kind today. We're gonna go ahead and wax her. I just looked at her hair, and she has a good amount of hair, so I'm really excited for that, especially because I feel like in the past webinars, people have been wanting to really see somebody with good amount of hair. So as promised, today we are gonna start, and it just depends on how you run your room, but I'm going to go ahead and tell my client right now to go ahead into butterfly pose. So you're going to touch your bottoms of your feet together like a butterfly. And I'm just going to be mindful of my camera. Just want to make sure this looks good. Okay, so now always making sure your client is very comfortable. Just make sure to ask them if they're ready to begin. I've already waxed Krista in the past, so I do know Krista's not allergic to anything. But you do want to ask if they're allergic, if they're on any blood thinners, Accutane, pregnant, nursing, all of that stuff, okay? They should already have an intake form filled out, but it's going to be best that you always just ask in general. So I already got my SMA ready, and we're going to begin. I'm going to prep Krista's skin with the Intimate Refreshing Wipes. These are pH balanced wipes, but they're great for cleansing and hydrating and soothing the skin. And these are available in bulk for back bar or for retail as well. They come in a pack of 15, which are very popular here in my room. And I have these available for my clients to freshen up before their wax. So this is how big it is. It's really, really, really big, and I like that. So we're gonna go ahead and begin. Krista, like I said, her hair is a little lengthy, but I love this for us today. We're gonna start by cleansing her skin, and we're just gonna pull and hold the skin taut in different directions. And something I learned recently at the Las Vegas convention was a lot of people are scared to get inside of the labia. So I'm very, very comfortable with how I, work. So I literally just open the labias up the same way you guys just saw me do that. So don't be shy, get in there. Your client wants that hair gone. So we're going to need you to open up those labias, okay? We're going to go in with the nude oil. As you can see, it's halfway done. The reason is because this oil is very popular in my room, and I use it to prep the skin. So this has jojoba seed, grapeseed, tea tree. So it's a mixture of oils. What it does, it helps to create a protective barrier between the wax and the skin. And it's also going to help to hydrate the skin, lift those flat hairs, prevent ingrowns, bumps, and breakouts. And if you're using Bermuda oil, that one will help to brighten hyperpigmentation or dark spots, okay? So as you can see, I love to rough up the hair. Let's pick up those hairs high, and let's make sure that we don't have any flat hairs, okay? Something that I personally have stopped using in my treatment room is cornstarch powder. I just don't feel like it's necessary and it dries the skin. But if you are a waxer who wants to continue to use cornstarch, please do, okay? That's something that helps you, especially in this hotter weather, the hotter season. Clients do tend to sweat a little bit more. The oil is not heavy, so it's not going to linger on the skin for too long. As you guys can see, I have a healthy amount of wax on my stick. So I kind of create an imaginary 4 fingers, because a bikini line will be 4 fingers. Anything outside a bikini line is going to be an extended part of the wax, so you would want to charge extra for an inner thigh wax, okay? Okay, so we're going to just quickly dry the skin a little further just to make sure there's no more oil. And we're going to go ahead and hold the skin taut. You guys see my left hand is holding her skin taut. And we're going to go ahead and make that wax strip right into the inner thigh, close to the bikini line. You guys can see the wax is not rolling. So a lot of people get scared because they think the wax is going to roll because of the oil and not having cornstarch, okay? So this is a very tricky strip in my honest opinion, because if you let it go, it could create bubbles. So sometimes I will hold because I don't want to create a bubble here, and that's going to create a bruise, okay? So as you guys can tell, the wax is fairly dry. It's not fully dry, and that's one thing that I love about bush beads. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. Why I love bush beads is because you don't have to let it dry 100%. You guys could see it's still pretty pliable, so that means it's not fully dry. Still a little tacky, but it's able to pull. And as you guys can see too right here, there's some dead skin cells. That's something that we'll get into right now with our client. We'll let her know. We're seeing some dead cells, and we're probably going to ask her, right? Are you exfoliating? How often are you exfoliating? What are you using to exfoliate? And she's already nodding her head at me, which I can tell you right now, a lot of us have probably been there, right? Where our clients are on the table, they're not exfoliating. We love an honest queen. Thank you for that. Okay, guys, so we're going to do a backward strip now. This is called a cleanup strip. So anytime you go back for a cleanup strip, I highly suggest informing your client that the wax might feel a little warmer, even though it's not. The reason is because some of that barrier of the hair is gone, and they're feeling the wax a little more directly onto the skin. So again, we're going to go ahead and check the wax strip, and we're going to stagger. Okay, we're going to stagger the cleanup, and we're picking up those leftover wax. So you guys can see that, right? Is that visible? Why I love the color of this wax as well is because since it is white, you can see those dead layers. And this is like a really great time to educate your client and to talk to your client and let them know that we are expecting a little more from them as far as their maintenance goes, okay? So in this case, I would normally, if it was a returning client, somebody who was constantly waxing, I begin with the wax strip going from the mons pubis to the clitoral hood. But today, because she is a little lengthy, we're going to start on the mons pubis to the top, okay? So here we go. We're laying that first major strip. As you can tell, I did lay a nice thick strip, okay? And a little bit of the wax roll, a little bit, but it's still workable is what I'm saying. I like to just make sure that oil is keeping that skin nicely hydrated, okay? So this is pretty dry already, but we're going to lay the next strip. We're going to move on to the labia right through here. And again, we're going to want to lay a nice thick strip just because we want to pick up that hair. Also, if you're not super experienced quite yet, you can always do half of the labia. So we're going to go into half today, okay? Just because even as an experienced waxer, I always analyze my client's hair and their skin. And I try to make sure that I provide the most quickest wax, one, and number two, the most, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to panic her. I don't want her to feel scared that I'm making these big strips on her. I know there's a lot of trends out there that people do one strip, things like that. I'm more of a waxer that likes to take my time and make sure that my client is comfortable on the table. If it's a returning client or something like that, then go for it. But I will always make sure that I take care of my client, okay? So this is nice and dry. I want her to take a deep breath in, breathe out. Good, very beautiful. I take those deep breaths with them because I'm not going to lie, I feel like I need to do it as well. Sometimes I get a little nervous myself. Again, I've been waxing for years and years and years, but I still take that deep breath with them just because I want to feel in sync with my client, okay? So we are good here. Most of that hair did live, so we're going to go into a cleanup strip. How do you guys feel like you do a cleanup strip? Do you feel like your cleanup strips do better than the first strip? Or do you guys feel like cleanup strips are, they're okay? Like you guys don't feel like you get a ton of hair out of cleanup strips? I do cleanup strips. I mostly stagger. So I get a lot of clients who tell me that, or people in our industry who say when they do cleanup strips, they feel like the hair is still not lifting, but it's because I stagger. So only cleanup strips do I stagger, okay? First strips, we're going to pull them really hard, really fast. So this is nice and dry. I'm going to have Krista go ahead and hold your tummy a little taut right there, just because I want to make sure that I have her hands placed very well, and I don't want her to swing her hands around, okay? So I'll take a deep breath in, breathe out. There we go. So as you guys can see, it was a little lengthy in the middle. I have to get it off very quickly, okay? Here we are, nice thick strip. We're looking at the follicles, right? Everybody, or the bulbs. I learned recently, someone told me it's the bulbs. So we're looking to make sure we're grabbing that hair from the root. And just a quick question, guys. How often should our clients be coming in for Brazilian wax? Anybody want to type that in just for fun? We're going to go into the inner thigh again, bikini line.
We have a couple answers, Kim. Most people are saying 4 to 6 weeks.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so we're going to pull this top one. Ready to take a deep breath, and then you're going to stagger. Beautiful. Okay, you saw that stagger. It looks really good. Most of that hair is completely gone, okay? So take a nice deep breath in. Breathe out. And don't forget to apply some pressure, guys. And another question, what do we call this when a client is bleeding a little bit? What's it called, guys? This is for fun. Again, I like to ask questions just to see where everyone's at. And see, her hair's a little lengthy here. We're going to be very mindful when we're putting the wax on. Just straight down, point technique all the way down. And again, I try to be mindful because her hair is a little lengthy in the center. I don't want to do one full strip at once. I'm doing about half of her labia right now. And the first round of the wax, I always lay it pretty thick. And if anybody didn't answer, so it's called point bleeding when your client is bleeding like that. And the reason the clients bleed is because we're grabbing that bulb from the root, and sometimes the hair is a little thick. So the hair coming out is going to create a wound. It's a controlled wound. It's okay. But that's a positive thing. It just means we grab that hair from the root, okay? So if you're a first time, very new, brand new waxer, if you see a little bit of blood, that's normal, okay? Perfect. So I obviously always check my strips. We want to make sure they're dry. For these, I really do want to make sure they're very dry. So a lot of people will ask, well, if it's really dry, does it crack? Most of my wax strips always come out perfect, and I never have issues with cracking or breaking of the strip or the hair. Deep breath in. Good job. And I always reassure my client, like, you did great, sis. Like, good job on that strip. So I always like to hype up my client on the table just because I want to make sure that they know they're doing an amazing job as well as working with me, okay? So here we are. We're going to work lay one, pull one. So this is called a lay a strip, pull a strip, lay a strip, pull a strip. And we're just slowly working towards the center, okay? So we're going to get close to the mons pubis all the way down to the near her clitoral hood, okay? So this next one is ready. Are you guys ready to watch this one be pulled? So Krista says she's not ready, but we're gonna have her take a nice deep breath in. I love how everybody here, I could see some faces, like the smiles are coming along because I could see everyone's like getting nervous with you. But you're doing great, honey. You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. Great. Deep breath. Okay. So about halfway through, I pulled, and then I literally got my second grip to get that pull off. Okay. So if you do it in one pull, that's great. But because again, it was a little lengthy, I want to make sure that I'm not like 100%. I want to make sure that I get it all the way through. Okay. So take a deep breath in. And notice also how I'm holding her skin down and taut. She's holding up here. We're kind of just creating this comfortable, you know, place where she can hold her tummy and then I can hold aside a little bit for her. Okay.
Great teamwork.
Yeah, sometimes it does take teamwork. I will say that it's a good point, Krista. It does take good teamwork. And I feel like that's what makes a great waxer too, is just being able to tell your client, like, do you mind holding here for me? Do you mind helping me lift here? Do you mind going in this position? Don't be shy to tell your client what you need, because as a professional, you want to be comfortable with the work you're doing as well. So we're getting into daisy chaining. I'm so excited. I've been teaching this for a while now on these webinars. I know some people probably know about it, but if you don't know, now you know. We're going to create a circle of wax behind my glove. We're going to let it get nice and tacky. We're going to pull her off. We're going to melt her on to the strip, shiny side to shiny side. Do you guys know about daisy chaining yet? I want to hear this one. I do want to know. Have you guys started or heard of daisy chaining, or this is your first time? Okay.
It looks like a lot of people have not heard of this before.
Okay, so you guys, it is one of the best techniques you can do when you're stuck on a strip and you're like, I can't pull that. It's really difficult to pull the clitoral hood one, especially the one down the center. It could get very hard depending on how long the hair is. So I would highly suggest doing a daisy chain, even if you feel confident, because it just creates an easier lift for you, okay? Okay, perfect. So you guys can see the strip is fully dry, and we're gonna have her, yes, take some deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. There we go. All right. See how beautiful that daisy chain work, guys? Like, I cannot stress enough how awesome it is to be able to chain a wax strip like that and make it so much easier for yourself. And that's a really great technique for people who are just not fully confident just quite yet pulling certain strips. That daisy chain could be done with any strip, okay? So here we go again. We're just gonna go ahead and you guys can see I'm working kind of slowly towards the center. She does still have hair there in the clitoral hood, but we're going to take our time getting in there, okay? And so another great technique I'm going to teach you guys is maybe doing a cleanup strip while she's on knees to chest, okay? Because sometimes I feel like depending on body, depending on the labias, depending on the clitoral hood, some people have really deep hoods, and I feel like a lot of people have trouble getting in there. So, or they are shy, or they don't want to open up. So I'm gonna teach you a different way you could possibly do it, especially if your client is just like not cooperating in that center part. I'll teach you guys right now a way to do it. Deep breath, ready? There you go. So the rest looks amazing. We're just gonna go ahead and get back in here, and we're gonna clean up the top now, okay? So Krista is doing amazing. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
We're cleaning her up at the top. So we're going to make a nice big strip now. Now that we've already did all of the hair growth patterns, we have followed the direction. Now is the time where you guys can go a little bit happy and start laying those strips, okay? I know that a lot of people question also like how to do certain patterns. I would suggest watching everybody's hair and their pattern and their hair growth and follow the direction of the hair growth, okay? And it's okay that if you don't start how I start, you can definitely start how you'd like and make sure that you're comfortable with your pattern as well. There's so many different ways to do patterns on the Brazilian. Okay, but today we went on a safer pattern just because we didn't want to break the hair, overlap those strips. If the hair was a little bit thinner and maybe the client didn't have she was more consistent, we could start in a different pattern. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and stagger. Tell me now, Krista, does the stagger help or hurt? I mean, does it hurt when I stagger it?
No.
Okay, good. So sometimes people will ask, like, doesn't that hurt the client? More than likely, if they barely have any hair left, it's not gonna hurt because they just don't have that much hair left. So staggering only done when we're cleaning up the strips, okay?
Miss Pam, are you ready for some questions while you do those cleanup strips?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, we have a question here about when you have a first-timer client, what's your recommendation on how often you need to see them? Just because you need to get their like hair cycle, like you have to figure out their hair cycle. So what do you recommend for first-time clients with their
Yes,
trimming?
totally. Whenever I'm speaking with my first time client, especially like if they're brand new to this waxing journey, I always tell them to stick to one amount of time in between their wax appointments. So for example, I'll say, I would highly suggest sticking to a 4-week in between periods in between your wax appointments, because we want to link those hair cycles up. So if you have a client who's comfortable with a little hair, I also mention that. I say, if you have a little hair and it doesn't bother you, then go ahead and stick to 6 weeks. If you feel like 5 weeks is good, stick to 5 weeks. So I kind of let them decide, and then from there I try to keep them accountable. So when they come in, I pre-book them and I said, okay, then let's go ahead and get your next appointment in for 5 weeks out. And things like that are going to help to secure the next appointment as well. Okay, and then you're kind of helping them to stay consistent. Also, it being summer, it is a great opportunity to mention how busy you are, even if you're not. Just say it. I'm so busy right now. This summer season is going to be super busy. Manifest that. 1. 2, secure that next appointment and let them know, I want to see you back in 4 weeks. And this is a good time to also include what they need to be doing in between their appointments. So for example, Krista, I want to see you exfoliate every, 2 to 3 times a week because I do see some dead skin cells. Take a deep breath. There we go. Good job. You guys could see that little leftover. And you want to make sure they're doing their home care. So this is a really great opportunity as well to tell them about the oil and the scrub. I do feel like maintenance is going to be the biggest thing about their appointment, because if they're not doing their job at home, how do they expect you to get their wax clean? So you have to be able to provide that retail product as well and let them know, I have these products available for you. They're pH balanced, they're gynecologist, dermatologist approved, natural based products. I bet you that you have something in your studio that can help them, and that will make your job a lot easier as well. So with that being said, I would say maybe something like, I can offer you an oil and a scrub for $49. I know that there's other brands out there that one oil costs $49. So for your demographic, the products and the pricing will always be a lot friendlier for the client and for you as a professional. Okay.
Love that.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
We have a question here. Do you ever provide exfoliation treatments during a Brazilian?
No, I personally do not. And the reason is because the skin is way too sensitive, in my opinion, post Brazilian wax. So if that's something that you want to offer, I highly suggest looking into like a deluxe version, which can be an exfoliation can be included. So that would mean that they would have to come in maybe 2 to 3 weeks post Brazilian wax, and then they can do a deluxe Vajacial after that. And that is where you can include exfoliations, chemical peels, and all of that sort. But after Brazilian wax, just because we want them to wait 24 hours, no hot tub, no sauna, no pool, no intimacy, I feel like exfoliation, depending on you as the esthetician, I would highly suggest waiting at least a week to 2 weeks. Okay.
Awesome. We have another question. A couple people missed the beginning when you were applying the oil. Can you just re-explain quickly why you like to use an oil to prep the skin and not powder?
Yeah. So even right now, you guys can see I'm going to re-cleanse her. I'm using the same cleansing one that I used earlier, and then I'm using the oil again. And then the reason is because you want to create a barrier between the wax and the skin. And you also want to make sure you're hydrating the skin and picking up those flat hairs. So right now I'm putting more oil because in the clitoral hood, you guys can see the hair is being stubborn, but it's also because it's a little flat. So I'm gonna go back in and just dry it. And I'm gonna actually leave my little paper here for a second. And that's just a regular tissue paper because I want to keep her skin dry. Right now that it's a little hotter outside, I will say that our clients do tend to sweat a little bit more. Okay. So we're gonna go down the clitoral hood. We're gonna like kind of just lay a big strip here and we're gonna pull it together. Yay. Just because her hair is being a little stubborn in the center.
Always.
So I think I'm gonna try to daisy chain this one and help me out a little bit, okay? And if this doesn't pick up, I'm gonna show you guys, like I said at the end, how to do this type of a strip when she's at knees to chest. I think I'm gonna turn on my fan already too because I'm hot.
Okay.
I'm like, I run hot. I don't know, estheticians and waxers, I tend to run really hot when I'm working. So I always have a fan going as well because my clients also tend to sweat sometimes. So back to the temperature, we were talking about that earlier. I do get a lot of questions. What temperature should I leave it at? The temperature is not really what I'm looking for. It's more of the consistency of the wax. So I do a 1, 2, 3 test on my stick. 1, 2, 3. If it doesn't fall, if I could just twiddle it, it's perfect. If I feel like it's being too runny, it's way too hot. And if it's not moving enough, it's too cold. Okay. So you have to make sure that it's more of a cake batter consistency, and that will help a lot. Okay. But that's just something that as an experienced waxer, I've learned because I don't really read anymore, like what the temperature of the wax should be at. I literally just look for the same consistency and then I patch test. So if you're not sure and you're like scared, that's completely normal, but you can patch test, guys. Always patch test on your arm or your hand and make sure you're comfortable with the temperature before you apply it to your client, okay? Any other questions, Kiana, that I can answer while we get her into butt strip?
This one is more about retail aftercare, about what is your favorite Bushbalm product?
Either like straight for oh, straight. My favorite Bushbalm products, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be like the scrub, like a scrub. So I'm gonna go with the scrub just because I want people to get rid of those dead cells. That's probably gonna be like my number one like pet peeve is dead skin cells. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go into a butt strip. There's different ways to do this position, but you can go knees to chest. You can have them lay to their sides. You can have them go on their fours. I just think it depends on the client if they have, good, they're flexible. It just depends on each person. Okay. But for today, we're gonna go knees to chest. So we're gonna have her go knees to chest now. Yeah, just take your time. I always have my clients stretch if they need to, get them comfortable, and then you're gonna help them. So you're gonna open them up like this. Okay. So I usually grab like a brand new tissue. I'm going to wipe and I'm going to just leave my little tissue there. This will help just to keep the skin dry. Okay. And I just quickly come back, remove, and I'm going to go ahead and lay that strip. It just depends on how much hair somebody has. I can lay 2 strips at once, but for now I'm going to just do 1 strip at a time. Okay. And this is a great time to pick up those little hairs or those little wax strips around the body. Okay. Any questions, guys? I'm trying to look over here.
Kim, there is a question about trimming. You, I know, don't like to trim, but is there ever a point where you would trim?
You guys, do what's best for you. Always do what's best for you. If you're the type of waxer who's a little intimidated and a little scared of the hair, by all means, get some slanted trimmers. Okay, they have to be slanted, guys, just because you don't want to nick somebody. That would be so painful. I don't want my clients to trim, so I always tell them it doesn't matter how much hair you have, just come. I will take care of it when they get here. If I do feel like it's necessary, I will trim a little bit, but for the most part I don't. I just feel like it's not necessary. The wax will adhere faster, but again, what works best for you. Do what's best for you. Okay.
I love that. I think it's also just important to note that there are so many different techniques, and what Kim and I have learned over the last little bit is there really is no one right way to do the service, and you really just have to do exactly what Kim just said, what's best for you.
Yeah. And right now I'm going to do like what I call the butterfly strip. So we're going to do one side and then we're going to lay the next strip also on the other side. Okay. So we're going to pull these off together. As you can see, I'm point techniquing all the way through to the anus, all the way up. Okay. If you feel like your client has a bunny tail still and their hair is not lifting, then you can have them laid to their side for the bunny tail. Okay. So we're going to marry this. We're going to daisy chain it. I'm going to pull this side off. I'm going to marry it to this side. And then we're going to pull it down the center. Okay. Sometimes this goes flawless. Sometimes it goes so great. And as an experienced waxer, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So for the most part, I feel like it goes pretty good. Okay. So we're going to pull, marry it down, and you're going to pop it off. Okay. So my friend here still has a little bit of hair. So we're going to go ahead and do one more, okay? So the reason being is I could see the little bit of those layers of the dead cells again. So I also get asked, like, how many times can you go over the area? People get a little bit scared when they see me go over it like 2, 3, even 4 times sometimes. But I'm watching her skin. I'm looking at her hair. I'm making sure it's safe to keep going. Okay. And again, if you feel like you're not ready for that, that's completely fine. You don't have to go over. You can always tweeze it. So this is what I was talking about. Back to the cleanup strip on the clitoral hood. We're going to open her up, dry the area. Be very careful here. The clitoral hood is very sensitive. So while those strips are drying, we're going to go back into a cleanup strip. This strip works magic on our plus size queens. Somebody who's not flexible or cannot open up. I have all sorts of body types that they get very nervous when I open them up. This is the best way to do it because they really can't move here. They're stuck in one position and we can go all the way and you guys can see I'm like getting all the way in there, okay? So that's the best way, in my opinion, to do a cleanup strip on the clitoral hood and get all the way deep, deep, deep. So we're going to stagger those. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Those hairs picked up. If you ask me, that is honestly one of the cleanest cleanup strips I've ever seen in my life, okay? So we're going to make sure this is dry. Let her stay there gold hot. A little bit still wet inside, okay? See? Look at that, guys. Go back to butterfly look. Good job. Do you guys see that? That was such a good cleanup strip, guys. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that was going back in there, and it looks completely clean, okay? So we could see some ingrowns here. I'm excited to grab those at the end. Me too. So we're going to go ahead and start the mini vajacial, but if there's any questions, Kiana, that you'd like me to answer.
There is a question that was asked a couple of times, so I just want to make sure we're addressing it. What is the best pre-post cleansing oil, or I guess treatment oil, for people with allergies?
Allergies? What kind of allergies?
Yeah, I guess that one just needs to be a little bit more defined. I would say out of our collection, like the nude has the least amount of ingredients with just grapeseed, tea tree, jojoba, and copaiba oil. And it's totally fragrance free. So I would probably recommend that one. But for the person that asked that question, I guess we just need to know a little bit more about what allergies you're talking about.
Yeah, I would say a little more specific. So we're doing a quick cleanse. I'm just getting the rest of the wax off of your skin. This is a great time for you to do some high frequency to kill the bacteria. And we're going to go in with the Bushbalm's Vajacial mask. This stuff is amazing. It's honestly the most used product in my room along with the oils. This has hyaluronic acid, aloe vera, and green tea extract. It is super hydrating, and it's also going to be very calming and very soothing for the skin post Brazilian wax. Okay, so we're gonna have Krista go ahead and put her legs straight, just relax them. I usually guide my client. I'll just say relax the legs a little bit outward. We're gonna open this up And I'm going to tell you guys where the mask is. Sometimes might be some confusion, but I think it's, I myself have been using this forever, so I feel like it's very easy for me to use. But it's going to be the one in the middle of the two packaging because it is filled with all those ingredients. And it's meant to keep it nice and hydrated and juicy with all those products and ingredients. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's a clear mask. So we're gonna go ahead and put it onto her body now. Ready? And I'd like to give a friendly warning, like it's gonna be really cold or very hydrating, or let them warn them. You don't want to just put this on their skin without a little warning. Okay. So there's the mask. I like to open up the mask packaging a little more and see if there's any more ingredients in here. Oh, that was nice. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just put the rest of the solution on her skin. And for today, we're gonna go ahead and also bring out the side strips, which I really get super excited to talk about the side strips because I recently, well, not recently, but I've been recently talking more about the different ways to use these. So the side strips are hit for the underarms as well. So if you're doing like an underarm wax, maybe you can offer a special where you can put the side strips on the underarms instead of the side of the bikini. And I do that, like, let's just say this month I did a Brazilian wax with a mini Vajacial. I charge $105 here in LA. And I charge $70 for Brazilian wax, and it's $35 to add on the mini Vajacial. The side strips are already counted for. So when I say it's a free treatment, it really isn't free because it already was paid before when they booked the service, okay? But it's kind of a nice way to give them a little treat. And the next time they come back, if they want to do this service again, now you can charge them extra for the service. So you could charge like $10 extra for the mask. You can charge, a collective fee. So if it's like, I charge $20 for an underarm wax, maybe you could charge $30 for the underarm wax with the mini treatment of the side strip. So that way you guys can use them as well. Because I will say sometimes I have clients that I don't need to use the side strips for them and they just sit there. So I kind of wanted to start using them more efficiently and again, kind of planting that seed on my client so they can see that they like the treatment and they want to add it on as an add-on later on. So while your client is sitting here with the mask, this is a great time to discuss when they should be coming back, aftercare products. You could do a underarm wax with the underarm treatment. You could do an upper lip wax, a scalp massage. There's like different things that you can offer in the service room while the client is laying there. So that way you're staying busy and making that extra money. Or just a good time for you to clean your room, make more wax, prep for the next few clients. It's really, really a great add-on, the Vajacial mask, okay? Oh yeah, as a stomach strip too, Jennifer, that's a really great idea. All right. Let's see, should we answer some questions while this sits?
Yes. How long are you going to be leaving the mask on for?
Mask is left on for 10 minutes. You can leave it on longer or less amount of time. Easy cleanup. I used to use the hydrogel mask, hydrogellies. I would have a headache after wiping those off. It was so difficult to take those off, and the residue that's left on the skin, I always found it that I was using way more papers or napkins or towels, and it was just way too much work. And the ingredients in the hydrogel mask, in my honest opinion, are a lot more straight to the point. They're better ingredients for the skin, easier to clean up, easy management, as well as time and managing your inventory. So I feel like as soon as I look at my products, I know that I'm going to need to buy extras because I'm almost done. With hydrogel masks and other masks, I feel like the powder is kind of hard to tell how much product you have left. So, and the best thing, in my opinion, is if your client does not have time for Vajacial in-house, you can retail these masks. So that is the best thing in the world, to be able to provide something that they can take home that you even use in your room as well. Okay. Yes, these are safe for pregnant clients. Always have them check with their doctor, their gyno, make sure that they're safe. I wax pregnant clients all the time. And I do the mini vajacials all the time on them as well. I'm hoping in the future to be able to have a model who's pregnant. That way we can kind of get into that. So I'm also looking into bringing in different types of clients. So that way we can have different types of techniques and results and all of that good stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and what is the name of the mask again? So these are the hydrogel masks by Bushbalm. Okay. So they come with a triangle and a side strip. I'll show you guys right now. Which oil do you use to prep the skin? Kelly, I use the Bushbalm back bar oils and the nude back bar oil. So they look like this. Okay. These are my favorite. Honestly, right now, I will always have out like the ones that are the exclusive ones because I have them available for retail. So when I'm prepping the skin, sometimes I'll use one of these, like the lavender oil, for example, has been the most popular one right now. And also the watermelon sugar. So sometimes at the end, I'll finish off with one of these just so that they can smell it, feel it on the skin. And that way it's easier for them to purchase because they've already tried it and they know they love it. So at the end, we'll probably finish off with one of these right now, okay? And then here are what the masks look like. Okay, so this is your triangle strips and your side strips. They come separately packaged. Again, why I think that's brilliant is because you can use them at different times and you can also mix and match these as well. So if you want to do an underarm wax, if you're doing a Brazilian wax, they come separately packaged. Or if you want to retail them, you could retail one or the other, okay? And then it says here, I'm trying to read some of these. For waxing, Rania, I do not numb. I do have a numbing spray available. It's a $10 add-on, but I just don't feel like it's necessary. The wax is done before the numbing spray takes effect. So I would just say go for it, but if you want to offer a numbing spray, you really can. Good examples for aftercare after Brazilian to take home. I would highly suggest taking home or making sure your clients have an aftercare. So a really great example right now is like the watermelon sugar. So they're going to do an exfoliation 3 times a week at home in their shower, and they're going to apply their oil after every shower or bath. Okay, so we want to make sure they're doing their home care and be very specific at what you want them to do, because more than likely when they get home, they will forget. But luckily, the products, I do believe they have the instructions. Yeah, it says instructions on the box. So I always just kind of like nudge them in that direction. I'll be like telling them what they need to do. And I'm like, but if you tend to forget or if you forget when you leave, the instructions are on the boxes. Okay. All my clients love the side strips when they do their underarms. I keep it in my fridge. Beautiful, Jody. I love that. I think it's great to put them in the fridge as well. They get really, really cold. So just be mindful when you're applying onto the client's skin. Okay. How to best assist clients that really want a client but have a hard time sitting still. Maybe a stress ball. Offer them a stress ball. Play some music that they probably like. I sometimes play music and I'm like, is this okay with you guys? Because sometimes I feel like music can calm somebody down a little bit. Maybe offer them a stress ball as well. I think stress balls are a lot of fun and they have something to kind of do while they're laying there. Name of the numbing spray, I believe it's GG. It's a GG numbing spray. It's like a 4% lidocaine. How much do you say you charge for the masks? So the mask costs $8 retail for the professional. So you can charge double, which is 16. But like I said, I charge 35. So I want to make that money back. And to be honest, $35 for an add-on for a mini Vajacial is not a lot. The whole service takes an hour. So I want to make sure that I'm making the right amount of money for my time and for my expertise and for all the love and care that I'm going to be giving to the client. Okay. Any products for a step-by-step for Vajacial for a service, and can we steam? I know that steaming is very controversial on here. I don't want to get dragged, but I do steam. I do steam. I use my steamer that has it has a UV, and the steamer is sterile. So it's not like my client is going into a hot sauna or a jacuzzi. They're literally getting sterile steam on their skin. If you do not want to steam, you could cool steam, or you can probably place a warm towel. I would just suggest do what's best for you always. That's another one that I say it's a very controversial topic. Please, please do what's best for you. I normally will put steam while this mask is sitting on my client, okay? How do we purchase wholesale to retail? Monet, that's definitely a question for Kiana. If you'd like to go ahead and answer that a little bit later on, we can talk about that and how to purchase wholesale. And remember, it is a wholesale company, guys. I do see sometimes people say things about wholesale. You're buying products at a wholesale price. It's going to come in sets, okay? You're going to sell the products. Don't worry about it, okay? I promise you the products will sell itself. What is the age recommendation for your first wax? 18 and over. Under 18 needs a parent and consent form filled out. Okay, so 18 and over, make sure that, you know, that they are of age. Be very careful with Brazilian waxes. A student esthetician was wondering, how do you handle clients' hygiene when it comes to this treatment? Great question. I love that. Okay, I know that sometimes clients come in. We all seen the TikToks. We've all seen the reels of people being, you know, discussing these things. I think just be honest with your client. I don't really give them an option. I say, all right, I'll be right with you. Please go ahead and use the restroom now to freshen up. And when you come out, I will take you back in. If they say, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. All right, let's go into my room. I have a little dish with all of my amazing cleansing wipes. And I will still go ahead and nudge them one more time. And I'll say, okay, I know you're ready to go, but those are the cleansing wipes I have available. They're pH balanced. And I always mention that because some people are mindful because they don't want to use something that's not going to be pH balanced. These are pH balanced. I'm going to go ahead and leave you here for a second. Please freshen up. The trash is right there. If they still don't do it, unfortunately, baby, you're going to have a conversation. But most clients, I promise you, 99.9% of the time, people are very respectful. I feel like they know they're getting this type of service done. And most of my clients will bathe before, or if they're coming from work, they're very mindful and they use the restroom. So again, it's just sometimes nudging your clients in a very kind way. Okay. Did I miss anything, guys? I'm so sorry. I feel like I was trying to rush through these.
Let me take a look, Kim. I'm just trying to make sure we're answering all the relevant questions.
Okay.
I feel like we got most of them. Someone's just asking if you charge different prices for bikini wax versus Brazilian.
I'm so sorry. What was that?
Someone's just asking the price difference between your bikini waxes and Brazilians.
Okay, yes. So I know that this is, again, another very hot topic, I'll say. When people discuss like the different types of bikini services, yes, there are different ones. Some estheticians will only offer Brazilians, and that's fine. But I personally offer 3. I offer a bikini line, which is great for 18 and under. That's amazing to do for 18 and under. They can keep their undergarments on. Parents still have to be in the room. Extended bikini is just the front. So you can leave hair, you can leave a strip, you can leave a triangle. And then Brazilian is front to back. And when you do front to back, that's fine. You could still leave hair. So something that's my little trick that I do here in my room is I use the Bushbalm pubic hair stencils. These help me out a lot when I'm trying to shape, just because it's a little hard to shape sometimes for me. And I will say that shaping is fun, but sometimes can be a little bit harder to grab that perfect shape. So I will say there's 3 types of services. I charge $70 for Brazilian, $55 for an extended bikini, and I believe it's $45 for a bikini line. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Everybody feels like that makes sense? Okay.
Clear. Jennifer, Kim, I think you did do a wax demo and included the stencils once. I think
I
it's
did.
in May or April.
We could do it again in the future.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we definitely bring it back. The stencils were just a giveaway product, so we don't have them on the site anymore. But if there is any demand for it, then we can definitely bring it back.
Yeah. I think
Um,
I try to look, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm answering. If I miss any questions, guys, just DM me. I'll be more than happy to answer them at a later time if you feel like your question was not answered. Okay. So we're gonna move on. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys. We're gonna remove these mask strips, and because I love my friend Krista, my client, we're gonna go ahead and quickly take these ingrowns out. This is the most satisfying thing as an esthetician. Who here loves to do extractions, especially ingrowns? I want to hear it. So look how quickly I'm picking those up. Just because these are so ready, they're literally at the surface. So easy to pick these up. Just remember to ask your client too and be like, is it okay if I take these out? Are you comfortable with me picking out your ingrowns? And then they're like, oh my gosh, no, I'm so embarrassed. Don't, oh my God, look at that. Look how fun that one was. You guys see that?
So fun.
And we're just gonna quickly, grab a couple more and just let her know this might be a little painful. If you feel like you see them like moving too much, they're uncomfortable, just grab the bigger ones. You don't have to torture them too much. As you guys can see, this mask really helped also to lift some of these flat hairs. You can also, depending on your state, you may be able to lancet. In Cali, I do not believe we're allowed to lancet, but do I do it? Yes, I do. I do it sometimes. Lancets are basically like these little tiny needles, or like you can also use like tweezers that have like a very sharp point, and you pick out those ingrowns. I don't like to grab the ones that are too deep. I kind of just like to stick to the more surface one, okay? You're welcome. And you can see she still has flat hairs in there, but for the most part, we're going to let those be. It just depends on how much time you have and how much love you're willing to give to your client, okay? So that's pretty much it. You guys see the ingrowns that we took out? Can we see these? There they are.
that's insane.
And there's more, but we're going to give Krista a little break. And I like to collect those and put them on a cotton round and show my clients at the end. Okay. So we're going to go in with lavender lemon. And we're going to cold globe. These are awesome to keep in your mini fridge. And you can use this at the end to relax the skin further, to massage that oil. And also this is kind of in my opinion, it feels very like appropriate, because sometimes like I will effleurage or I'll kind of like move the product around, but I kind of feel like the cold globe kind of does the work for me, and it's also like cooling off the skin. Okay, so you can see we're applying the oil on the top of her body, and it's not going into the body as the bottom part. Okay, we're not going into the labias or any of that. And if you want to, you can still have them go butterfly and put some on their inner thigh. Okay. Like that. And there you go. And that is the Brazilian wax mini Vajacial treatment. An hour service. I charge $105. Depending on your demographic, where you live, is what I would suggest. Price pointing the masks, the cost of the mask, and all of your products, and you might want to like look into what your demographic is doing. I would say go on Yelp, go on Google, check who's doing these services near you. There might not be many people doing it, which means that there is room for you to create a service for your community that will just pop your business off. Okay. And just look at her skin, how beautiful it looks. Just look at that. I love it, love it, love it. How does the lavender lemon smell? Do you like the way it smells?
It smells so good.
It smells delicious. Like a spa day experience. Just so good. And then at this point, you can just have them get dressed, pre-book their appointments, remind them about their aftercare, tell them how often you want them to come in, should you, all that good stuff. Okay.
Love that, Miss Kim. I just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of the giveaway that we're doing today. I did drop the information in the comment section. The message is pinned. I just need you to go to the link provided and comment one thing you learned from today's webinar on that specific Instagram post for a chance to win a 6-pack of both the new key lime pie oil and scrub. So you're entering to win a total of 12 products, and we're going to be picking the winner at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So you have 2 hours to enter the giveaway. I just want to say thank you everybody who participated and asked very engaging questions. Thank you so much to our incredible model, Krista, and Kim, our in-house SD, who always does an incredible job explaining and educating all there is to Brazilian waxing. So thank you so much, Kim and Krista.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we are at time, so we are going to wrap it up. As I said, this recording will be on YouTube for privacy purposes. We cannot show the actual service being provided, but everything that Kim just chatted through, all of that is going to be posted on the YouTube. So hopefully you can be a little bit of an auditory learner if you had to jump off or you couldn't stay on for the whole time. The link doesn't work. If the link doesn't work, guys, you can just go to our Instagram page. It's the very first post that you see. It's like an espresso colored post. So you'll be able to just click that Instagram post and enter the giveaway. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, awesome. We're going to wrap this up. Again, like Kim said, if you guys have any questions, her DMs are open. Bushbalm Pro DMs are open. If you're looking to place your first order, you can always reach out to us via DM or email. Email is wholesale@mybushbalm.com, and we can get you started with your first order. We have incredible onboarding specialists that can guide you through your first order and really set you up for success. We do these education webinars once a month. So we have one coming up late July. We also host monthly PK webinars. So that's not going to be a demo, but it is our product development coordinator, Delian, talking through all of the products within our collection. So it's definitely more catered to like retailing. But if you wanted to join that one is happening on July 8th. So it happens on the second Tuesday of every month. So please join us for that if you'd like to learn a little bit more about all of our retail products. Awesome. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. But again, thank you everybody for joining. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.